justice for all.
Tammy, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Lopez,
Here.
Mr. Reynolds,
Here.
Mr. Homa.
Present.
Move on to, I'd look for a motion to approve the minutes of our July 28th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 28th.
I will second that.
A motion and a second. Any question regarding the minutes as presented? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes approved. Next, we'll move on to accounts payable claim docket. I think what it was at $7,000.
$7,070.93.
Look for a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve the payable claim docket.
I'll second motion to approve the accounts payable claim docket.
A motion and a second. Any questions regarding the claim docket? Hearing none, all in favor of approval, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll move on to treasurer's report. Mitch, please.
Yep, the beginning balance for the month was $278,257.01. The revenue month to date was $25,177.07. The dispersed month to date is $1,953.46, leaving a current balance of $301,480.62.
Perfect. Thank you, Mitch.
Yep.
We'll move on to public comments. If there's somebody here who'd like to bring something forth to the board, please step up, state your name and address for the record, please.
Carla Staley, 1505 Cedar, just to follow up on the flooding issues we've been having at the house. And I believe it was an agenda item last month to kind of do some sort of an assessment, and just wanted to follow up on that.
Okay, so
That's my comment.
Eric and I had a meeting about that. We had, I can't remember what year, when we did the Dune Forest project a few years ago down at the bottom of the hill,
Mhm.
there was a part 2 to that, which
Yes.
is Nolke and Cedar area. So Eric and I went over that 3 weeks ago, probably right before the storm, so before the storm hit.
Good.
And went over that. So there's a set of plans that we want to modify because they don't quite pertain to what we want to do now. But it would, we're gonna have to survey. So the property you have on Detroit that runs a little where the east side of it ends, we want to survey that part and get some surveying in the street. And then we need to run a drain or a ditch south of your house. I'm trying to get my directions right. So it picks up the water that's running that way and not through your backyard. Get it over to Cedar Street, run it down there. But we also would be putting some drains down by Nolke in front of his house. To pick up the water in front of Glenn's house, so that it picks that water. We had a set of plans drawn for that before. It's just not quite exactly what it needs to be, so we need to tweak it. There's that little, I'm gonna call it a pond across from you, the end of the street. It's it's in a yard. It used to be when Jesse owned your house, and that was his mother's house.
Nancy's yard.
So there's a drain there. Bill and I talked about it. I think it's plugged, so
Yes.
we need to unplug that. So Public Works is gonna have to jet that out and see why it's plugged up. So
that's the one that goes.
goes across under the street, goes under Nolke, yeah.
That needs
Yeah.
to be maintained.
So that needs to be cleaned and make sure it's working. But the idea would be to get the water down Cedar, wrap around Glenn's property, and then go back into that right of way and tie into the rest of the system. So we have, part of that's drawn, we just have to get it redrawn and a little more surveying to it, and then get some numbers on that.
Now-
That'll take the water around instead of through your backyard,
Correct.
you know,
But then,
and get rid of the water that's
But it
plaguing
ponds-
his property.
it
Because
ponds in Glenn's yard.
yeah, it would pick that water up also. So I actually have a copy of that. If you want to see a copy of the
Yeah.
old one, I can send that to you. But it needs to be modified so that it picks the water up by your house and runs it around. Yeah.
I
So we
appreciate you guys.
we met it, had a nice meeting about it and then all heck broke loose. So.
Of course, yes.
I mean, I think it also relative is what was different about the previous plan set drawn up is it wasn't focused on capturing the size of the watershed that is flowing through your yard. So that's what
Fair.
I started with by saying, and it's every bit, Mike has a good
Yeah.
system. It's every bit as big of a watershed as what we did
Yeah.
for Ash and Markovich. Okay. So like we certainly don't want to take on that massive size of a project, but we could take elements of it to give us an idea of to intercept on your south side. We need a pipe to run north and then come back Noki and then go north again to drop into that waterfall. So it gave us would we capture like maybe 1,000 feet of pipe? We came up with some kind of a number in a zigzag.
It's a little shorter than that, but yeah, probably.
I mean, because we just don't have a place for the water to go.
Yeah, the way that was designed before, it was just picking up gnocchi. My Swedish is bad, gnocchi, how you say it.
Yeah.
But it was only picking water up there. It wasn't capturing the water that's running through your property and then his property.
And then-
It wasn't capturing, they were just putting it on the road. That's why we never built it, because it didn't make any sense. But let's just say half of it's viable and then the rest of it needs to be tweaked. So that way we could actually solve the problem. So we had a.
Yeah, we had
nice-
conceptual of
meeting
what
about
we
it.
would need, conceptual of sizes. So then I said, hey, let's do a study. I basically,
Yeah.
these guys saw my emails. I basically said,
Oh.
did it, and then came in and met with Mike and said, I think this is about, he somewhat agrees. We got to move it from there to the next stage, but we at least have a concept of what needs to happen, but
Yeah, last 2 weeks have just been stormy,
Oh,
so.
absolutely. And I appreciate you guys coming by.
Yeah.
Our son told us that you guys had come by and I think the kids were floating boats down the driveway at the
I came
time.
by that Sunday.
You did, and the kids were
Talk to your son.
Floating boats
And
down the
I seen
driveway.
the river coming through there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And then all that water then, did you see where it ponded and
Right, that's your,
that's
across
Glenn's?
the street on the
Yeah,
corner,
that's
right?
their
Yeah.
yard. Yeah.
yes, yeah, coming off of Ash there.
You can, yeah, sure. Thank
We just state your name and address, please. for the record.
Burke. I'm on 1509. I'm the guy that has the pond. Um, So the road, I'm not an engineer by any means, but a couple of years ago, so the road is angled 6 inches towards my property. So when that water runs down Kanoki Street, it naturally just funnels into me. And I think Michael talked to somebody at the street department. They put some gravel there, but that's not what's
It's
gonna,
not-
There
not
was
Kanoki,
there was
you
a
mean-
washout.
Which road,
Noki.
Kanoki.
Kanoki?
Yeah.
Just leaning towards,
So right on the north side, the road's angled 6 inches. It's angled actually towards my property. So
everything's
the
running
water
down.
runs down, it just comes naturally into there. And,
Yeah, between Cedar and Birch,
yeah.
there was a washout in there.
Mm-hmm. But a couple days ago, we drove through Dune Acres and it was pretty neat. They've got a trough system out there.
Yep.
And you've seen it?
Yeah, as you're going into on Mineral Springs Road. all
Yes.
the troughs.
That would work awesome. I mean, something like that. I mean, just to get the,
oh, you mean
just to
did
keep
it
the.
go across the road,
Well, no, it actually, no, actually it runs along the road. It's,
That's exactly.
That's what we were talking about.
That's-
yeah, I mean, that
Couple,
seems to be.
couple of meetings ago, you guys remember when I
Really?
said I drew it?
Yeah.
I came in and
That's
showed
actually
Mike.
what we were talking about doing.
Yeah, I saw that at Dune Acres. I was like, that's a fix. But it's gonna save me because I'm to the point where I've brought 30 years I've lived there. I fought that for 30 years, water run. Years ago, the building inspector told me, hey, get the water off your property and that's somebody else's problem. So it's not now, but the reality is I don't want to keep buying sand and bringing fill in. It's really not doing anything until we can get that water gone. So,
Yep.
but the trough system is pretty awesome that I saw. I was like, man, that'd work great. So
Yep.
anyways, that's
Well,
all.
we appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you doing all you've done over the years to try to keep it up. But yeah, this is things that we need to know about. So
Yeah. Well, if you need help. I'm there all the time.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Larson.
Hello, Mike Peters, 528 First Street. Hello. I want to thank you for personally coming out and seeing the giant lake that I have in my backyard. I think it's flooded 3 times since the last meeting here. So, I appreciate you coming out, and I hope we got some movement on this and can discuss it and try and move forward on this. So
It's moving with a 2-week delay.
that's okay. That's better than going back. I mean, better than tell me it's not moving. All right. Appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep, thank you.
Hey, thank you for coming.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Linda Brolsma, and I live at 111 Franklin Street in Porter, Indiana. And I'm been having major issues with the drainage in my yard, like everybody is right now, but I'm having issues more because things that happened in adjacent properties. One is property behind me, which is a business. They were going to be putting in a garage, and they ended up taking everything out of the back, the swales and everything else, and putting in an impermeable driveway.
Showing where it is on the map.
Sure, driveway, just down there, yeah, and I'm on the alley there. And everybody said, oh, the alley's higher, the alley's higher. I've never really had a problem with the alley being a lot higher. When I moved in there, of course, the alley wasn't higher. It actually acted as a swale and a ditch. But now there's no swale across the alley. The driveway is higher than my property, and it's higher than the Mexican restaurant's property. It's higher than the village property. It's higher than the one next to me and the one over here, but also the one next to me. Within the same week or two of that being put in, the neighbors who flipped the house completely regraded the property, where I've been there 33 years. I've never had a problem. Gravity has taken everything to where it needed to go. Now it all comes to the side of my house and into my basement. And the people next door who did buy the house can't use their backyard because it has been flooded the whole time. They have been there since March 17th. And when I contacted the town, I was told by one of the town board members that because I have private property, anybody can do whatever they want to their yard. And if it affects mine, it's my responsibility to make any corrections to mine. But if I make any corrections to mine without the neighbors, they're going to have the issues, and that's not how a Porterite was raised. So I was speaking with Michael Berry about this, and he's going to come and look at it, and we'll see if we can get something situated, but it's not going to be an easy task to correct it.
And just so the people that had the house next door were flipping the house. So she called me because the guy was digging around in the front. And I went over and looked, and he had a skid steer, and I thought that was kind of odd because he was digging around the front. He said, I'm just fixing this flower bed. And I don't remember what day it was. I think it was a Friday, but
I've got it on the calendar at home. It could have been.
Remember. So, and honestly, people lie to me all the time and I can't tell sometimes, but he said that's all he was doing. I'm like, okay, and I left. I didn't go back there. Now, Jay, I talked to Jay, this was months ago when this was done, but I talked to Jay about it, or he overheard me talk about it with Don probably. And he said, oh yeah, those people regraded that on the weekend. Well, I didn't know they regraded it on the weekend. So it's done.
And they took out all
Then
the
they sold
berms
the
and they
house.
redid
Yeah.
the swales.
And they sold the house and now it's messed up. So she emailed Don and I, we went back and forth a little bit, but I'll go look at it tomorrow and see if there's some solution that can be.
And
figured
it's
out.
not even so much that I expect the town or the taxpayers or my neighbors to pay for it. They're not responsible for what happened. But I do expect the town officials to look into those types of things while or as they're happening or right after and make some resolution then. This has been going on since
Yeah, if
the
I knew
beginning
they
of
were doing it,
March.
I would stop it.
Yeah,
I didn't
this has
know
been
they were
going
doing
on
it.
since since the beginning of March.
Yeah.
And every time it rains, I have it. It's literally coming up to the side of my house, which is quite a ways from the property line. And it's not, my property isn't draining to the storm drains at all
Yeah.
anymore, where it used to just be gravity.
I'll go look at it tomorrow, but,
Thank you.
as far as the other side of the street, you were talking about, Eric and I talked about that too, so we're working on that. Business side also.
Yes, the alley.
I mean, and I guess, sorry you have to go through that, and I think I'd be remiss if I didn't make the comment, but Mike, that is not a true statement that somebody's allowed to modify their
You're not allowed
yard
to do that.
to change the drainage pattern. Now, can't catch everybody, right? But that's like stormwater 101. You can't, make your problem somebody else's problem. So rainwater is a common enemy. This is bad situation, obviously, because it's been sold, et cetera, et cetera. But I think, Mike, if you had more awareness, or they would have had to apply to do that,
Yeah,
you would have
they
stopped
had-
it.
would've
You would
had
have
to apply
stopped
for
it,
something.
right, at the
They
time,
didn't do it. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I didn't know they did it.
So,
Is there a penalty that we can levy or something?
Well, the problem is it's different homeowners, they
Yeah.
didn't do it.
Ah,
Right.
okay.
They sold it.
So, they sold
Yeah.
the house,
Mhm.
so that's the issue.
Yeah.
You know, the other people are gone.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think,
Yeah.
one thing going forward, Mike, too, is when we have people flipping houses, I think we need to put an extra eye on it. Because we know they're not gonna be there for the long term.
Yeah, they had that house for quite a while.
They only had it for
That's
a year.
the last, yeah, I know, but I
Yeah.
mean, they had it for a while and that's the last thing they did, so I didn't know they could do that either. Not much we can do about it, unless we catch them.
that's part of, Mike, you and I, Mike, we've talked about the alley, so I presented a solution to Mike. Some of you have been here last few meetings about how to address the alley. I think it's very similar to the grates that are grading system. I think you can do that decently shallow with boxes, it's U-box. Mike, what was it, proper term? We looked it up, but
Slot drain.
yeah, slot drains.
Well, one of the issues with drains and stuff like that is the fact that that alley is used every single day by semis.
Yep.
By the definition that you guys put in
That's-
here as semis, every single day the alley is only 12 feet wide.
The type of slot drains that I looked at is exactly what's used on I-94. That's how they collect, in between hills. That's how they don't wait for all the water to pool down at the bottom. They have these big pipes. I was looking to see what other issue you and I looked at where I think we could utilize something. So hopefully we can address the alley part. And I think front part of Franklin does not have storm sewers. Is that correct?
Lincoln Street doesn't have it.
Right. So,
Franklin does have them on the front. We have storm drains in the front yards.
It's the other side, so if we drain it to Pleasant Street, then we can fix the alley, but we have to draft that up and see how much it costs.
okay.
Thank you, though, for coming and bringing it to
Yeah,
our
thank
attention.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else like to bring something forward to the board? Please step up, state your name and address for the record.
Susan Branster, 2924 Glacier Trail, Porter, Indiana.
On August 5th, we received a letter from Tammy Sufana and saying that they were gonna, can I just read a letter that I can give you a copy of?
Sure.
Okay. Dear members of the Storm Board, I'm writing to respectfully ask the board to reconsider the town's recent decision to change the way our properties have historically been assessed stormwater fees. In October 2010, we brought this issue before the Stormwater Management Board and applied to have our lots combined for stormwater billing. Following that application, the town reduced our stormwater charges, and that arrangement continued until now. We have the original application, plat maps, and bills reflecting the reduction. Since then, some parcels were distributed to my brother following my father's death or sold. The remaining parcels in question are now owned by my sister and I. We were surprised to learn that following an internal audit, the town determined that we should now be paying stormwater fees on all 53 parcels rather than approximately 20 parcels for which we have historically been billed. We understand the town's responsibility to ensure accurate billing. However, we consistently paid every bill the town issued to us under the arrangement established with the town. We also asked the board to consider the unusual nature of these properties. None is developed. Almost all the parcels have no road access because the platted roads are undeveloped due to the terrain. Many lots are not independently developed developable, and approximately 20 parcels are actually underwater. The remaining property is largely natural dune or wooded. These properties therefore have little to no impervious surface or drainage infrastructure and do not generate the type of stormwater runoff that would flow into the town's stormwater system. We can provide plat maps documenting these circumstances as well as minutes from an earlier stormwater management board meeting showing that other property owners in our neighborhood were permitted to combine lots for stormwater billing purposes. We understand that the town's current policy is to assess the $6 monthly stormwater fee based on the property's PIN, P-I-N, and we are not disputing that general policy. We are asking the board to continue the specific arrangement established with us in 2010, particularly given the documentation showing that the lots were formally presented to the board for combination and that other property owners were treated similarly. We would also appreciate clarification regarding the parcel count in the recent notice. 2 of the parcels are listed twice, which means the notice identifies 53 unique parcels rather than 55. We would appreciate having that discrepancy corrected before any revised assessment is made. I'm almost done, I'm so sorry. We would like to request to meet with the appropriate town authority to review the arrangement established in 2011 and determine how it should apply to the properties we still own, taking into account parcels that have since been sold or otherwise transferred out of our ownership. We would be happy to provide the original application, bills, plat maps, and board minutes to assist in that review. Thank you for your time and consideration. We hope we can resolve this matter. Looking forward to discussing it with you, Susan Branstad. And I don't know, Michael Berry was on one of those meetings in 2011, so, but you probably don't remember. Matt Kaiser.
Remember?
No, it would have been me, in 2011, yeah. Would have been Matt.
Okay, so, Joe, I just give this to
It
you
was
guys?
definitely not.
Give it to
Yeah.
Tammy and
Tammy.
she
Oh, that's you? We got that nice.
Yeah, I think they need to meet with, you need to meet with Corinne. That's where you need to meet.
Well, we need to review it. I mean,
You have to
I don't know
review
who, but like we said, the parcels, the tax bills need to be combined. And then you could combine 3 lots, then you'll just have.
Yeah, well, we could combine all 100 of them and you would be charging us $6. I mean, it's not a sensible billing system either, and to charge us for, ones that are underwater are not reasonable. But, we came to a very, reasonable solution before. We did talk to Corinne and she goes, well, the policy is to charge per parcel. And she just would not move off that
Regardless of-
position.
Some of the parcels are just one lot, and then some of them, a couple of them actually are.
She said she didn't have the
5 and
authority
7.
to
Right.
discuss it with us,
Right.
so we're bringing it to you.
We are looking at a new ordinance and drafting a new ordinance. And I've mentioned this before, but, if you want to suggest that we don't bill for properties underwater, that would be a good suggestion.
Okay, so are you giving Corinne authority to, discuss this with us and,
Let me jump. So I think
We'll have to pull out all the documents. and look
Yeah,
at it.
we need to,
if we can find the meeting minutes
okay,
of the previous agreement
Mhm.
where the board did approve this,
okay, so one thing I have,
substantial piece of evidence.
okay, I don't have, do we have that? We have board minutes where other people in our neighborhood got the combination, all right? We have the application, the requesting to the board. And then we have all the bills going back then. We met in 2011 and we have the bill right before we met and we have the bill right after we met, showing that it was, they were combined. And we have a plat map, show them the plat map
So
where,
the meeting was January 26, 2011.
No,
I know that for.
when I bought 2 of your guys' lots from you, they were adjacent to mine. I had to wait. I had to pay multiple fees. When we split it up, the guy up on the corner there was like 13 parcels. It was split up and it turned into a bunch of different parcels because those all got scattered out into different pins. Then all of us had to then pay those stormwater fees. So I can in concept understand what you're going through, that you guys had several parcels that were unadjacent that are in one pin.
right. In some
So you were
cases,
getting
yeah.
one bill for it.
Right, but most of our parcels are adjacent to each other.
Yeah.
There are a few now, but because everything was divided in
Yeah,
2019,
no, yep,
we got one side, so,
it is. So
but,
to me, I think and so does Corinne have the authority? No, it's gonna come to us. The town officials will, we bring it to a vote. We had one just a couple months ago, guys, right? You know, of what to do, how to handle the stormwater board. So I think what you presented respectfully is reasonable evidence. If we can find that evidence or
Well,
cooperate
I
it.
think we need to bring it, because we have a lot of, we can show you the request, we can show you the resulting map where they enumerated, okay, we'll consider this one, where they picked out, and made the change to how many things. We can bring in the bills.
So for the 53, there's 53 PIN numbers, is that, or is it, what's?
right,
correct?
and 20 of those 53 are
Underwater.
But so for, but.
And we were never billed for the underwater
how many
ones. Now she's
stormwater
proposing
bills were you
to,
receiving for the 53 then?
they're all on one bill.
We've
They're
been,
all,
yeah,
it's just one bill, but there's
20, we've been billed for 20 parcels.
on
for
one
a
bill.
long- Since the split up.
Like the bills for 200 and
Be-
something.
Previously,
dollars.
we were billed for 36, and that included our cottages that we,
So
And then when
we did ask, you know, as part of it, we pulled the pins from the county. Okay, we have all the pins from the county and as we're figuring out how to come up with our stormwater bills for the future. So are we collecting everything that we should? I live right next to you guys and I think the national park should be paying a ton more.
Mhm.
They don't pay for theirs. And these guys know it. And I've gone through a ton of research. All the parcels that are in the water, those are actually parcels that are a part of the,
National Lake,
and we don't charge, we all use the stormwater infrastructure in this town. I live on a giant sand hill, you know what I mean? We don't, it's not a pay to play system. So in my mind, I've said, we all use the stormwater system. We all as a town need to pay for it. So the fact I use that on one hand, the other hand, you do have a substantial amount of evidence.
We're not objecting to paying.
Right, exactly. So that's where, like,
Yeah.
it just, first time I've heard of it, I think that we can all work and see the amount of the evidence.
Where I got the information is every one of those parcels has a tax bill.
So they
So
should,
that's why they're all being billed.
Right,
Yeah,
that's why,
that's-
because
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
not.
They're not
and
combined.
that was a directive of us. If we said that, so,
But, okay, you're right, and that's always been that way. But historically, you let people come in here and you ask to have combined,
You have to
so
combine
it's
the
not.
tax bills, too,
with
though.
the,
But it's
No,
not
my neighbors
practical.
didn't.
It's
That's
nobody,
our practice, though, someone like Eric combined his tax bills.
it's not practical for us to combine our tax bills because it's ridiculous. Because if your tax bill, you're billed on whether you have a view of the lake. These lots, if one of them has a view of the lake, then if we combine everything, so it's not practical to do that way.
It would raise the assessed value of the other lots that are not even buildable, right?
Right.
I understand that, but
I will entertain both sides of the argument more so than I have others because you have historical reference, okay? But it is, I think it's fair to all the ratepayers in the town that everybody who has an individual PIN is having to pay a stormwater fee. I had to go through it. Everybody here in town, it's no different than what's happened. I understand there's sins of the past. I get it. If there is an agreement in place, I will personally consider it because I can understand it. Okay, I very much understand it, but at the same time, it's unfair to going forward when we're figuring out what will the cost basis be for when we raise the stormwater fee from $12 a month to $25 a month, okay, per parcel in the future to pay for our next set of expansion that we have 50 lots here, 300 lots that the national park owns that they're not paying for. There's a bunch of different people that need to, quite frankly, pay their fair share, and that's just the first step. But I get the specific situation, so I'm not
You're
gonna.
also charging people the same who have 30 lots and a big house and lots of, a driveway that's impervious, the same as you're charging one person with one vacant wooded lot that's off in the woods. I mean, that doesn't make,
So we've
logical
actually,
sense.
because I drove this with Mike too, though, that there's a certain, with the upgraded structure that's in place, people are gonna be allowed a certain amount of impervious surface. And then beyond that, you have to pay for your runoff amount because you're contributing more. The classic example is a church. I get it, okay, they're a non-taxable institution, et cetera, but their entire surface area is almost impervious. They should be paying a very large percentage of stormwater. So to your point, somebody like Ray's old house or, somebody else, the house back off Market at the end, yes, if they, an extraordinarily large house, then it's a unique situation, but that falls within, what we come up with, Mike, 10,000 square feet of impervious surface per unit.
Okay.
So that takes into account, so we've thought through that as well. So-
none of these are developed. They're all vacant and they've been vacant.
Can you send us copies of that stuff?
Yes,
Can I bring them in?
Yes, absolutely.
absolutely, that works.
I mean, can we meet with somebody and show
I'll
them?
meet with you and run copies and then I can distribute it if you want to do that. Is that easier for you?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
fine.
it's still gotta make another trip over here.
No, I don't mind doing that, but
Okay.
it would just be nice to, to talk with somebody
Yeah, I'll
and
sit down
show
with you,
the
go through it all, and
the
then I can
history of
pass
it.
on. Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be great.
I do appreciate your time and having that much evidence, and so we know that there's gonna be some issues like this that would come up,
And again, we're gonna update the ordinance, but the way it's written now, it says per tax parcel. So if the tax parcel is 25 by 100 in the middle of the woods, or if it's, 12 lots that are combined together, it's treated the same way. That's the way it's written right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
are you married to that policy? Maybe you should.
No, we're gonna revise it.
we're in
We
the
just need
process of
input.
revising it.
Or whether
Yeah.
it's-
We want some input on how we're gonna revise it, but we haven't got that far yet, so we're working on it. But this is helpful information. You wanna,
Thank you, and, maybe
Yeah.
should we call?
if you want, I'm gonna meet Linda tomorrow morning, and then after that, I got a meeting at 11:30, but if you wanna pop in the afternoon or something, I'm open tomorrow. After 1, I'm open tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, that's fine. Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
That, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Public comments, move on to reports. Michael Berry, updates.
We still haven't got any funds for the Lake Michigan Coastal Grant, so I'm asked again where that happened, what happened. Bill's already signed the agreement, that was, 3 months ago?
Right.
And we still don't got any funds for that. So as soon as the funds come in, we can start on that. On the trail project that we're working on, they have to order erosion netting that's biodegradable. And have to order a large quantity of that for the trail project. There's going to be substantial amount left over. So instead of what I was talking about with the North Bailey ditch, I'm gonna get the erosion netting from the RDC project, and then all we have to do is get that installed anywhere. We're gonna have it stockpiled. I'll probably store it at either Public Works or I'll probably store it at Public Works out, or the park. We'll see where we can store it. But, we'll be able to use that on multiple projects, and the material will be no charge for us. I'm gonna call Dyer again, since we were trying to set up the punch list inspection 3 weeks ago, and all this other stuff happened. I wanna reschedule that so we can finish the stuff we were doing on North Bailey. Trees basically filled up the ditch. Public Works has cleaned that out multiple times already. It still functions really well. It's just the trees keep plugging up the ditch, so. The rest of it seemed to be doing okay. We still have the same punch list that we had before. We've got that inlet that's, in the Chema's yard that's too high, the back pitch pipe.
Right.
That hasn't been fixed yet, so that's what I gotta get Dyer to come out and fix, so we can close that out, among other little things, but, we're gonna reschedule that, because we were trying to set it up right around when the storm hit, and so that didn't work. And then Eric and I met again on the small projects, and I was making some tweaks on that, and then, all this broke loose, so we're gonna extend that a little bit and add a couple little things to it, but I'll give you a better idea. on
Give a solution for
next week.
how to get some water before going into Judy's yard, so we can cut that off. We talked the same process.
Right, it's the
Yeah.
same
Cedars.
thing like their yard, right?
And,
What was the
And I had-
first, what's the street over here?
which one?
528 North.
Yeah, that's Mike. Yep.
Yeah, we did that one.
Yeah.
No, the,
Yeah, we went
Franklin?
through Cedar, went through that, went through the
oh,
alley.
the Francis Street, 440 Francis
Yeah,
Street.
430 Francis Street, the same thing. So we had initially talked about doing that, trying to drop a inlet on top of the pipe, and I think in 23 or 4 that was like 26 grand. All we really need to do is put a little gutter and a slot drain or something in there. It'll be very simple to get rid of that water that runs into his basement, so
Same thing with the
I'm
alley.
adding that one on there.
So besides the projects that we talked about, the small
was-
projects list, we have planned for it
Add-
and possibly
add that in
4
there.
more.
Just adding those smaller ones in there, so. Oh, shoot, I forgot something. Oh, I was gonna say, Mr. Cowser, I talked to Mr. Cowser, he couldn't make the meeting. I think we solved that in the email on Jelm. So
Oh.
I talked to him right before the meeting.
You did
so-
talk to him?
Yeah, so I'll send him a note, but the 2 culverts under the road, he thinks, even though he dug some stuff out, he thinks they're still plugged up, so I'll talk to Jamie and see if we can get the
Right.
vac trailer out there and
Just
unplug
check
them.
them out.
He said a substantial amount of water went through once he got the ends dug out, but there's still probably, looks like gravel or soil in there. Especially the older one, so I'll talk to him about that tomorrow and get that cleaned out. That'll solve that.
Right,
That's all I got.
was there any, I went right past it, MS4 permit update, was there any?
The only thing we had there is we rescheduled our inspections because of the storms. We had them set for Public Works in the park, and we had to reschedule it, so.
And
That's
then,
all I got for that.
did she have any more on that stuff with the orchard or anything, or
On what?
was the stuff we're working on with the orchard?
Oh, so yeah, Orchard ordered their signs. They should be installed shortly. They were very pleased with that idea, and they used the one that Julia drew up for the dumpsters. So I think there's 11 signs they had ordered. When I talked to her, a couple weeks ago. So they should be installed now. So that was good to hear.
Perfect.
The next item, I'm just gonna scoot down there. So I talked to Mark about the fee. He's talked to the neighbors. They bought into that. We just have to structure how that's gonna work. How we're gonna end up, they're gonna pay him and then how we're gonna get the money. So I need to talk to Chris about that. and
So what,
Corinne.
are they setting it up as like an HOA and they'll be owner
He's
of the
not calling
property?
it an HOA, but it's a stormwater, some sort of fee for maintenance, and that's what we gotta figure out, is how exactly that is legally set up
Well,
so that it functions properly.
yeah, I think that the 2 options were that,
Otherwise, we do it, yeah,
right, and they'd have a special assessment
Yes.
for that.
right,
But we'd prefer if they just took care of it.
yeah, so it sounds like they're gonna do it, it's just how that gets written up legally so that it functions, so I have talked to Corinne and Chris about that, see if we can put that here.
Okay,
As
yeah.
we talked the last meeting, he talked about a letter from the board, and we.
Right, that's what I wanted to get something together. I was.
Yeah, so
Been
once
busy the
once
last
he
couple
talked to
weeks.
the neighbors and sort of figured that out, it's like, how do we make this happen? And 2 weeks later, nothing's happened, so storm. But, I'll talk to, to Chris and Corinne and see if we
Yeah,
can hash that out.
I'll work with you on that to get that done
Yeah.
by our next meeting then.
Yeah. But he did get buy-in on it, so
That's
sounds like
good.
that'll work.
And in that regard, would there be, just say that process works out, but a letter from the board saying we acknowledge that you're gonna take care of your pond
Yeah.
via this, pond.
And then what happens when he doesn't?
Yeah, and they're basically saying in lieu of, this pond falling behind, the stormwater board has
We
the
have to
authority.
figure out a way that they pay the town to do the maintenance if he doesn't do
Well,
the
I don't-
maintenance.
see,
We
I don't wanna-
We don't want to do the maintenance.
No, we don't wanna do the maintenance.
He's 70, he's gonna retire at some point, and then what happens, if something happens to him,
Right.
we're back in the same.
We don't
boat.
wanna do the
It
maintenance.
could be a line item though.
No, we want him to do it.
It could be a line item.
Or they do the maintenance.
Well, that's the option, but the
Well,
better
it
option
needs
is
to
that
say
they,
something to the effect of they're gonna pay in and they're gonna hire somebody to maintain it, not
Right.
Mark. That's what it needs to say.
right, and if they don't, if they fail to maintain it, then
Then we abate.
we would have to
Yeah.
Then we
assess
would
them.
step in.
But that's what he wants help with how to draft that up,
Right.
so that's what I'm gonna try.
Talk
to
to
get.
Chris about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wanna make sure it's clear on,
Very clear. Needs to be very clear. So,
yeah. No more gray areas. Okay,
and then, like I said, I'm updating the other list and everybody, it just moved it all back, so. That's all I got.
all right. That's it. I got nothing under new business. Anything from the board, any comments?
I appreciate all the people that came out today.
Yes. Absolutely.
As always.
You think my only new is that as we talked about how to, us come up with our rates for the future. And I've kind of been on this rampage of, we gotta figure out what projects we wanna go after, how much they're gonna cost, blah, 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 and then, whatever rates we're gonna come up with. One other idea that, and I've shared this with Mike, so I'll share it in public setting, is if we could figure out what rate of service or what services that the town has received on behalf of the Stormwater Board over the last 10, 15 years with the price point at it is. Let's just assume that it was an adequate level of service from a stormwater standpoint. Those are two assumptions, I get that, but we could figure out if we wanted to maintain that rate of service, how much did we spend on MS4? How much did we spend on construction projects? How much did we spend on studies? How much did we spend on small projects? Come up with, okay, that's how much was spent up $12. And that we can look at the blue book of construction costs to say, okay, the last time we had a rate set at $12, it was
Monthly rate's 6.
right, but
You're going 2 months.
right, okay, but the idea is that was set in 2011, and we want to raise the rates once for the future. This is to maintain that same rate. This is what that $6 should turn into. So I'd ask Mike to provide a set of projects so that we could look over it. If a project that we were doing in 2015 cost $50,000 and it costs $100,000 now, kind of make a general bottoms up sort of what would the stormwater rates need to be to maintain the same level of service.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd given Mike, we had a conversation about that, and I think you guys are looking into that as well.
And I sent you the starter list I had, and then today Tammy sent all the other ones, 23 through 26 for all the other fees. So you probably haven't seen that yet, but she just sent that out, so. We
We're
can
gonna, and
pile all
talk
that.
with Mitch, we're gonna put a budget together so we
Yeah.
could determine like
Yeah,
what our fixed costs are for the year, and so what we can allocate for small projects and what we can set aside for large projects going forward.
yeah.
So like in a, whether it be a 5-year or 3-year deal, or what we could do.
So we have
rather
that.
than how things have done in the past, and just looking at
Yeah.
our
Yeah,
balance, what we got.
we're
what
hand
we
them out.
afford.
So we look at the bank, we look at the bank account and pull something out. I'd rather have
Right.
like a budget,
We
you know?
have that partial uber simple rate study from 2024 that had the graph of everybody's fees on it. So
Yeah.
instead of paying, $600 an hour to try and figure that out, we can take the information Tammy sent and then I put that other one together and figure it out ourselves. And just
Right.
figure out a rate that save us a whole bunch of money
Yeah.
anyway, and then base it on, like you said, level of service we've been trying to keep doing the last few years. And it's
And
$6 a month right now, which is really low, and not that I'm a fan of raising anybody's rate, but that's years old and it doesn't cover what we need to cover, so.
You know, and-
Plus, you gotta remember, there's a lot of people that do not pay bills.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the other issue we're dealing with too, as far as stormwater, is that we have 100-year rain about every 2 years now. So-
Yeah.
So there's a lot more, I've been on the board for 10 years, and we have a lot more people showing up like you that have issues that we previously didn't have because of the changes in climate changes that are affecting us. So,
one good thing is, Public Works got a mini on order with a ditch bucket and they can do some work in-house.
It
coming
was
up.
delivered today.
Oh, delivered today, thank you.
and
So,
actually,
yes, I'm sending it
we're
to
actually considering
So,
having them just take care of that.
So that would be what that's for.
Right.
Yeah.
To do something like that. There's an easement there. That's I want to say, fairly simple project.
I don't know if they have the trailer, but I know
Yeah,
they got the
but, we'll
excavator.
drive it over. I got a trailer. So that's what that's for. So we can, self-perform smaller things,
Mhm.
keep maintenance up. It's got the what do you call that thing? I kind of call it loggerhead. It's not a loggerhead, but the landscape head on it where we can also do some
Oh, yeah,
bushwhacking with it.
yeah.
Yeah, so and every time I think of that, I think of Mineral Springs going into Carlson Corners where that's all overgrown, or go down Wood Street or anywhere the ditch is overgrown.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing we
Right.
need that for.
Yeah.
So we can do a lot more maintenance in house, and it was delivered today. Yeah, all right, very good. Good news. So I think once we go through all that, and of course, for everybody that's here, the ordinance doesn't get done without, people's input, so once we get
Right.
that redrafted, or if there's the suggestion, like if it's underwater, you can build it or something like that, that's something that should be suggested, I think, but, that way we can get everybody's input and make it correct. I know Corinne had some parts of how things are billed, the way it was worded, she's gonna be into that.
And it should have been changed years ago, but it was
It's
just,
just-
we inherited it,
Yeah.
and it was like a one-size-fits-all, which isn't the right way it should be.
Yeah. Actually, it's simplified, the way we calculate, it's much more simplified than the old way, and it's easier for everybody to understand. I think it works to our advantage with trying to explain something rather than big long formula. It's really easy. We also, again, for people who are here, it was put onto a map so that we can easily update the map as needed, and if we need to make any changes, we can do that ourselves, so. It's just a lot of process we've been working on with GIS mapping and stuff like that. That you don't see behind the scenes. That's it.
That's it?
Is it? Yeah.
That's it?
done.
You good, Mitch? Anything
Yeah, I'm
else?
good.
Make a motion.
All right, I look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I talked to you.
Motion adjourned. Second?
Second.